What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're taking a look at the Garage Built Gear Mighty Pouch XL, and I picked mine up during the Black Friday sale for $49. However, regular pricing on these is $69. Now that sale has ended, so these are back to normal price. However, they are still in stock on the Garage Built Gear website as I'm uploading this video, which is a little bit of a rarity. These tend to sell out. There's only about 3 items currently in stock on the website, so I'll make sure to link to that down in the description if you're interested in picking one up. Now, a big question a lot of fans of Garage Built Gear are going to have is, how does the XL compare in size to the Mighty and even the Mightier Pouch? Because this is the newest pouch in the series. It's been around for a little bit, but not all that long, so I know that was a question I had, so I made sure to grab one of each of those pouches from my collection so we can do a quick size comparison. So up first we have the original Mighty Pouch, and as you can see side by side, this is significantly smaller than the XL, so obviously that XL lives up to its name, but when you lay it over the top, it doesn't seem like a major difference, maybe an inch wider and about a half an inch taller, but in practice it actually ends up being a pretty significant difference, so much so that I would regularly carry the Mighty Pouch in my pant pockets. With the XL, I couldn't picture myself ever carrying this one in pant pockets. It's small enough that you can almost certainly fit it into cargo pockets if you wear cargo pants, but most of my pants don't have those pockets, and I think I would be much more likely to just toss this one in a sling bag, my center console, carry it by itself, or even into a backpack, something like that. And so it's perfect if you're looking for just a little bit more space. It's not a huge dramatic difference over the original Mighty Pouch. Now, one of the key differences between the Mighty and the XL is the orientation of that front pocket. So you can see the orientation is the exact opposite of what we have on the original Mighty Pouch. And so that almost leads you to believe that looking at the pouch, even though they're both clamshell, that the original is meant to be opened top to bottom, where the XL is meant to be open left to right. Now in reality, the inside of these pockets are laid out the same way, and so this is also meant to be open left to right. It just kind of gives that illusion because of the orientation of the pocket and the tag on there. The other major difference you'll notice is the relocation of the hook and loop panel to the back of the pocket or the pouch on the XL. And so we'll put that one off to the side, but we'll keep it in frame so that we can do a quick size comparison between all 3 of them at once. And so this is the Mightier Pouch, and right off the bat you can see it's significantly taller than our XL and obviously way bigger than the original Mighty Pouch. If we lay it over the top like we did with the Mighty, you can see it completely eclipses the XL. They're basically identical in width. The Mightier is just a little bit taller, so kind of the same thing. The Mightier is great if you want to carry like full-length pens. The XL can fit some smaller full-length pens, but it's mostly better for short or mini pens. So great if you want to carry full-length pens or just larger, longer objects in general, but it's a nice kind of in-between size between the Mighty and the Mightier. The Mightier also has more similar orientation in terms of the pockets. The hook and loop are all identical to what you see on the XL. So with that being said, let's get those out of the way and focus back on the XL. Exterior dimensions here are about 5 inches by 5.5 inches. This one's in Cordura, a multi-cam black, obviously, similar to my background, so blending in a little bit there, but this one is a bit darker. Now, a lot of the pouches you'll see from Garage Built Gear, he is using Cordura. There are some exceptions. You saw it with the Mightier Pouch. I have a waxed canvas version. I also have a waxed canvas version of the original Mighty Pouch, but a majority of what you see is in Cordura. You'll be able to tell when you place that order. It will say what the material is in the listing now. Now all of these are made in Tennessee, so 100% USA made. Uses YKK zippers, a number 9 on that main clamshell style opening, and a number 5 reverse threaded YKK zipper on that back pocket. On the front, we do have the slip pocket that we mentioned earlier, and that does go the full depth of it. It's about 4 inches tall, the entire width, and it's mainly for small flat objects. It's a little bit of room in there, a little bit of extra material so you can get your fingers in there to reach in, but it's still going to be very tight when you have this fully loaded out. Now, I almost never put anything in here, but it's great for like a credit card or some cash, receipts, spare paper, whatever the case may be. But I only ever really throw stuff in there that I don't mind forgetting, because I almost always forget to empty this pocket out. So something that's important enough that I don't want to throw it away, but not important enough that I care if I forget about it in there for a few months. And so don't typically use that, but it is there if you need it. On the back, we have this 2-inch strip of that hook and loop Velcro panel, and that does go the full width, so you can throw some patches on there or just leave it patchless and keep that multicam black look. The hook and loop itself is also multicam black, so it blends in well with the rest of that pouch. YKK zipper again right here, and just like the front pocket, this one does suffer from that extremely tight fit because of the items on the interior. I put in a Right in the Rain credit card size notebook just because I always like to throw notebooks in these. Right now I've been using the same log and jotter. I just started a diet pretty recently, so I've been tracking my weight and what I'm eating and stuff like that on it, so not actually using the one that's in there, but did want to show that as a sample, and a log and jotter would not fit in this pocket. Now in terms of depth on this pocket, it's about 3 3/4 of an inch, maybe 4 inches, but you do have the extra space on the top, so you can put taller items as long as you can fold that flap back over the top of them before zipping it. Otherwise you won't be able to zip that up. And so that's everything on the exterior. Let's move on to the interior. Again, full clamshell style opening, YKK zipper, so nice and smooth. Does have that tube seal on the pull, but you can replace that with whatever you want. And so we can open this one up fully and see all of the contents. And you can see there's a lot more going on right now on the left than the right, but you can organize it obviously however you see fit. There is also a 2-inch strip of that hook and loop Velcro panel on the front of these front pockets that you can utilize. I chose not to just because 1, you don't see them, but 2, I like to be able to utilize the pocket clips on the interior. So I find that when there is Velcro on the inside, unless I'm adding additional organization, I've kind of stopped putting patches. I used to, but just kind of got over it and really would rather use the pocket clips if I need them. And so we'll start on the right side since that's the one that's currently a little bit emptier. I'm going to show off all the gear. I'll mention what it is and link to it in the description. But as usual, this is a video about the pouch, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on any of these items, but I will kind of at least go over what they are. So in these front pockets, I have the SOG Power Pint. This is a small multi-tool plier base with a bit driver on the front. Have a separate video on that. Really great multi-tool. And then right next to that, we have the Rivery Manufacturing Zero. And so this is out the front utility blade. Whoops, didn't mean to pull that back in. Out the front utility blade that just slots right in there. One thing that I want to mention that fits in these pockets, because it's an item that I frequently carry, is Zippos. You can put a Zippo in here, which is really, really nice. And so just like with the Rivery Manufacturing, it's a little bit tight in terms of pinching it out, but if you just press it up from the bottom, you can push it right out of there and have quick and easy access to that Zippo. So let's do a quick measurement of the width of these pockets. Both of them are right around 2 1/4 inches wide and then 3 inches in depth. About, I guess it's close to 3 1/4 inches. You do have to keep in mind the seams. It gets a little bit tighter down there, so I'd say about 3 inches in usable depth at least. And then that's all in the front. We have these 2 pockets. In the back, we just have this full open cavity pocket. And back there, I just have a hank. This is one of the old Gondek EDC Hank of the Month hanks. Obviously, this video is going up in December, so this one seemed appropriate, but just quarter folded in the back. There's plenty of extra real estate behind here that if you need to put other items, I put knives and stuff back there, and you can kind of clip them to the back to keep them from sliding around if you'd like as well. Now, a lot more going on the left side. This front pocket is the same, about 3 inches in usable height, about 3 1/4 inches in total, and it's fully open, so there's no seam down the middle, so you can put wider items down there. It's a really nice just kind of dump pocket also if you want to put some smaller items just kind of kicking around in here. And behind that, you can see there's these elastic loops, 4 of them in total, and so you can put the items through those elastic loops and have them kind of covered and protected by this pocket. So if you do have pocket clips out here, they're not going to be rubbing against the bottom of that gear. And so we have these loops in the back, and each of them are similar width. They're slightly different, but pretty similar width. So up first, we have that Mech Army RU01. This is their caliper ruler multi-tool that's currently on Kickstarter. That Kickstarter has been fully funded, but you can still take advantage of the early bird pricing if you'd like to. And again, I'll make sure to have links to all of these items in the description of the video. Now, next up is what used to be probably one of my favorite flashlights, and I just kind of forgot about it for a while, and I haven't carried this in forever. It probably needs to be charged, in fact. And so this is the Ace Beam Rider RX. And the cool thing about this, I love the blue accents on it, but also the bolt action clip that would allow you to protect that button and also set it down on its end stand. And so it keeps the battery from draining. It's basically like a lockout mode because you can't access that button. And then also just a little bit of a fidgety pocket clip to it. And so that's the Ace Beam Rider RX. Next to that, we have our Peace Neighbor. I believe it's called the Archon. pry bar, just one of his pry bars that I think I got directly from him. I know he did a drop on Urban EDC. I don't know if those are still in stock, but it has a bottle opener and pocket clip on there. The thing I like about this one is how slim that tip is. I always like that on pry bars. Obviously, maybe not as much strength as a more stout tip, but it's a sharper tip, so you can easily cut through tape and boxes and things like that, packaging, and also easier to get under. I know some of my pry bars, I tried prying up old staples and stuff from a staple gun, and they just wouldn't fit under there because it didn't get flat and narrow enough, and so I really like that about this one. Now, on to the next one. This is one we just saw in a video, the new Olight O-Pen Mini 2. This one has both our bolt action pen as well as the pencil on the opposite end, which is kind of a cool touch. And both of those are bolt action. This is a winter version of that, and that's all in the front pocket. So again, this is full width. You can just use it as a dump pocket, which I've definitely put like USB flash drives or bits and stuff like in these style of pockets. It works pretty well. They might spill out into the top, but usually if you keep it in the same orientation, you're gonna be just fine. Those loops are, this one looks like it's about 1.25 inches, about 1.25 inches, maybe a little over 1.25 inches, about 1 inch, and this one's a little less actually, about 1 inch and like 3/16 or so, and so pretty similar in width, but both of the ends have a little bit of less usable space, especially this right end. I would imagine that's actually different from pouch to pouch. It's just kind of, these are handmade in the USA, so there's going to be a little bit of variance, so I wouldn't count on that. I would say that most of them are going to be about 1.25 inches, give or take 1/16 of an inch. And so behind there we have a similar pocket to the other side, which I didn't even mention the height on here. These are a little over 4 inches, maybe 4.25 inches. And so exact same pocket on the opposite side. So have a pair of Knipex mini pliers as well as some extra bits. Now this is a Victorinox bit driver. It has the bits in there. You can store a few more in there, as well as a turner. And so I always like doing that. So you saw the Knipex and the multi-tool and the bit driver with the multi-tool and the actual bit driver. And the reason I like doing that is sometimes you need to be able to grab onto both sides, and so you need a bit on both sides, or you need pliers on both sides, and so just nice to have a little bit of redundancy in that regard. But that's everything I have stored in the Mighty Pouch XL. Let me know what you think of this one down in the comments, if you'd carry this over either the Mighty or even the Mightier Pouch, if you picked one of these up during the Black Friday sale. He did it kind of weird where there was a new release each day over 6 days starting on Wednesday. So this was the very first item. I actually did take advantage of one of those other days, so we'll be seeing the second item in the next week or two. We'll do a separate video on that one. But again, would love to know your thoughts on this one down in the comments. I will make sure to link to this in the description. I'm not affiliated with Garage Built Gear, but there were 11 in stock at the time I'm uploading this video, so hopefully there's still some there if you're hoping to pick one up. But thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, joining the channel as a member, or even checking out some of my other videos. All help the channel out a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.